Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is going to be episode 1 of the campaign updates. And what I have for you today is frequently asked questions. And this is how, as I get questions, I'll kind of consolidate them. And then not only if I'm talking face to face out in the community with folks, I will obviously answer questions there. But then as I get them, I'll come back and we'll do videos on it. And so this is what I have today are some questions that somebody that is on my Facebook group, Tom Davis for Congress, asked some questions through messaging. So what I'll do is I'll just read through it, and then at the end, I did not answer any of his final questions, just because that's when I kind of decided, hey, let's do this in this format. So here we go. He starts off with, and then so I am running for the 4th Congressional District in Tennessee, a seat which is currently held by Congressman Scott DesJarlais. So that's who's referenced in here. And as we start out, what are your thoughts on what Scott calls must-pass bills? Are there bills that must be passed regardless of what is in them? And you'll hear it here, but Stephen is our guy asking questions. Stephen, thank you for taking the time to ask the question. There are no must-pass bills. The first consideration for any bill is whether or not it falls under the scope of the Congress as set out in the Constitution. Then, for or against based on their merit. He gave me a 1 heart on that one, and then proceeds to ask the next one, which is 2, national security versus individual freedom and privacy. My answer, individual freedom. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. That's Benjamin Franklin. Then he asks, ready to beat Scott? My reply, yes. And then the next set of questions, he says, let's forget the obvious and boring topics like guns and border security. What are you offering to slash and repeal that helps the average first-generation family farmer, homesteader, homeschoolers, extra small business owner? And he says, feel free to add my questions to your answers. Feel free to add my questions and your answers to your website, frequently asked questions, FAQ. P.S. Your website is hard to find in search results and the name is too long. If you could get a shorter name, it would help. I'll try to get you more Facebook followers. So I appreciate the effort there to get more Facebook followers. That would be super helpful, and I do appreciate it. I don't know Stephen, but that cracked me up. My name is my name. It is what it is. I do understand in the as far as marketing that it's a little bit long, but it is what it is, and that's what we're rocking. I had as I went through the process, there's a whole bunch of other things that I had in mind that were a lot longer than that. So Thomas E. Davis for Congress.com is long, and I'm tracking it's not showing up, but as more people search it, I get more traffic, it will kind of work itself out. And then as I get more followers on Facebook, and then just it's more, to me, it's more driving the traffic itself there with my handing out cards. I do have a QR code for that. So, but no, I do appreciate the feedback on it. That's just where I am with that one. So there we go. And then ask about, feel free to add his questions and my answers. I'm not going to do one on the website, but what I am going to do is answer these questions and consolidate them here on YouTube. And then eventually I will probably transition over to Rumble. So that being said, the next one, what are you offering to slash and repeal that helps the average first generation family farmer, homesteader, homeschoolers, and extra small business owner? I'll start with the extra small business owner, and I will say my repealing of the 1934 National Firearms Act and the 1968 Gun Control Act. That would take care of a lot of problems for extra small business owners. One here in particular, there's been a friend of the channel, or not of the channel, but of the campaign, and just me personally as a friend. It's a local gun shop, and I believe that repealing those would relieve a lot of the burdens of tracking us as citizens and our purchases of things, i.e. firearms. So that would be one that goes back to my boring topic of guns. Another one to specifically address really some of these other ones, the first family farmer homesteader. Let's talk about the FDA defunding that and just dial it in and be very clear on legislation that does go into some of these regulations. If you haven't ever started a business, especially I would myself starting mine, some of the regulations involved, the tax stuff you have to file, LLCs you have to purchase. A lot of this is just funding the bureaucracy. So to me, let's start cutting out of some of these administrative bureaucrats. So pick something, homeschoolers, the Department of Education. Are we better served? And this is federally. States should be left up to their own methods of getting an education for our population. The federal government, I see there's a slight need. Let's give some general guidance as far as 1 through, or even K. It might be a little soon, but 1 through 12, we should be learning the Constitution. We should be learning civics. We should be learning that what actual form of government we have. It is a republic. We can have a discussion about constitutional republic versus democratic republic, whatever, but it spells out in the Constitution itself Republican form of government. So it bothers me to no end. Democracy, threat to democracy. No, that's fine. It's a republic and a Republican form of government. So we should be teaching people that, because they're either uninformed or they're intentionally misleading and putting out some nonsense. So there we go with that. So in what I am looking more at is the principles that guide my vote and the principles out of this district. If they align, the citizens and the voters of this district send me to Washington, D.C. to vote based on these principles. And it comes back to the Constitution and those enumerated things that our federal government is supposed to do. If it doesn't fall in there, then we shouldn't be doing it. I mean, it can be a discussion, but in particular now, especially when we are $34 trillion in debt. $34 trillion. And it's increasing by $1 trillion every 100 days. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then we're having conversations about, sending money overseas to places that are not, they have nothing to do with the general welfare of our population. I understand some, strategic stuff, yada, yada, but not not at a deficit. This is stuff we plan for, and we allocate resources, and then we're very strategic about it. Some of the ones, Ukraine, that's the hot one right now. What are we getting for our dollars other than, we're stopping Putin? What are we getting? Where's the end? And I would say Ukraine cannot sustain. And if we're going to do it, go all in. And I absolutely would not advocate for it. But if you're going to do it right. Just, sending our money over there for, just an endless bunch of nonsense is nonsense. Stop it. And like I said, especially out of deficit. I wouldn't think anybody probably watching this, or most folks that I talk to, are going to go ahead and max out their credit card to help somebody in Kentucky to rebuild their own house. It's not going to happen. Nor are you going to ask for an increase on that credit card to send them more money, because then what they did, instead of rebuilding their own house, they had a neighbor that they wanted to hook up with a pool, whatever. But it makes no sense to try and make us believe that this stuff is so ridiculously complicated. So all that to say, what you're looking to get from me as the representative is disciplined, principled voting, and that principle is on the Constitution. And then also looking at it, I am a Christian. And so I absolutely will not vote for anything that violates those principles. And it must be for the general good. And that clause is not just meant that it's good for certain places, certain states. We should not be building sidewalks in New Jersey. They're not for the general good. That's a New Jersey problem. In Tennessee, we shouldn't be trying to, an example of if it only benefits Tennessee, we probably don't need to be taking money from any other state to do that. An interstate running through Tennessee, absolutely. That is the general good, and it benefits everybody because we transport goods throughout the entire nation. So there we go. I'm trying to keep these short, but I got going there a little bit. That's where we're at, though. Hey, I appreciate the questions as you get to know me out here and as we do this, and I will absolutely keep doing these after elected. And then I owe it to you also to be in the district on my off days, and those off days being they took 3 weeks off to come back and do a continued spending resolution, which is trash, complete trash. So there is that. But you made it this far. However you feel, hit a like, a dislike, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me a comment. Either way, I will do my best to answer those or incorporate those into additional videos. And then you can find me again on my website, thomasedavisforcongress.com. I am also on Facebook, Tom Davis for Congress. And then here on YouTube, it's Red 4 Reviews. And that's, I win in August, then I'll make it all line up for you guys, and we'll make it super easy. But until then, I felt Red 4 Reviews kind of, I'm going to be reviewing the process itself and answering questions. So I've decided to keep that name on the channel. And that was actually my call sign in Afghanistan. So I do have a connection to the name. So said again, I appreciate the interest in this and in the process, and any questions, comments that you have on there. So until episode 2, thank you for your time and your interest in our republic. Have a great day.